So let's move to next question. What should parents start parenting? When should parents start preparing their kids for the state level and the national level assessment? I don't know if you heard about the state level and the national level assessment. Actually, here in the United States, more than 80% states require their elementary school students to take a state level assessment, standardized assessment by the end of grade 3. And all the schools require their kids to take a standardized national level assessment right after grade 4. And what I'm looking at, not just language and literacy, but mathematics, everything included in there. That says we need to know, okay, this is coming up, and we need to be better prepared for that from earlier age. We need to know what they're looking for, how this goes may align with later standardized assessment, because there's not only one national level assessment here. There's another one at after grade 8, and there's another one like the SAT, ACT testings. And Laura, you may be able to share with us a little bit about the SAT, ACT testing and how that may align with the state level and national level assessment at an earlier age.
Yeah, sure, I can address that. My experience is mostly from middle school up, so I don't have a lot of experience in the lower elementary school grades as far as that testing. I have done a lot of SAT preparation and other, high school level tests. So as far as I think one of the questions was, at what point, when should parents start thinking about, preparing their students for those state level and national level tests? That's a really hard question to answer, because every student is different and every student develops at a different rate, their reading skills and et cetera. So I would say as soon as possible, but as soon as you see that a child is able to comprehend basic word sentences, et cetera, if they're still developing basic language skills, and they're not going to be ready quite yet to comprehend, some of the reading paragraphs, passages, et cetera, that they're going to see on these tests. So I would say they, expose them to a lot of reading, read them a lot of stories, read aloud to them a lot, let them read aloud when they're really young. And, as they get into the early elementary grades, if they, if they are reading at a level where it makes sense to expose them to that level of comprehension, then yes, that's a good time to do it. As far as SAT level, high school level, the skills that they basically will need for those tests, I primarily teach the SAT reading and writing and language test. They should basically, when they're ready to start preparing for the SAT, they should be able to grasp basic linguistic concepts like past and present tense, parts of speech, what a sentence is and how a sentence is structured. If they are, at a point where they're ready to comprehend those concepts, they can certainly start prepping for the SAT, and that could be at as early an age as you think is fit. Obviously, you want them to have a minimal level of fluency in English. They should be able to, and a great way to develop that is, like I said, have them read aloud a lot and silently, but it's always good to read aloud at the younger ages. And just kind of track how their reading skills are developed. Are they able to decode and see the different units of language, like a phrase, a sentence, etc. So I would kind of use those as guideposts. I would never say start prepping for these at X age, because every student is different. Yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about that right now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Laura. Yeah, there's no, I'm not expecting an age that you tell me by this age kids should do that. I have never heard any teacher say that before, right? It's basically like, when is the appropriate time you feel for your kids it's ready to start preparing. And the most important thing is they know that along the way, around college application, SAT test preparation, we would need something more than basic English language skill. We would expect students to equip with critical thinking skills, would be able to equip some kind of self-directed learning strategies, and we expect them to have those kind of judgment on their own, instead of just taking it all in without any dispute process. Those have those pure doer worldview, right?
One thing I wanted to
go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I was saying one quick thing I wanted to add, that a really interesting reading development course I taught a while back. And what we really learned about that is, because we taught every level of reading, and it's very much like an infant develops. You know, they go through certain stages. They're all going to learn how to walk. They're all going to learn how to talk. They're going to do it at different times, and there's nothing you can do to hurry that or to slow it down. It's going to happen. And in the same way, language development occurs, and it all occurs in the same stages, but those stages might be longer, shorter, and they might advance faster or slower. So that's why you can't really pigeonhole a student and say, oh, they should all be able to do this at a certain age.
Exactly. Actually, language development have their own stages. And what we value here at STEM-EDU is not we want you to accelerate your learning. We want you to enhance your learning. We are not hurrying up to meet the common core for the next 2 years. We want you to stay in the age-appropriate content. We want to guide you thinking toward those higher order thinking skills. So you will be more like self-regulated learner in the future.